Hey everyone, what is going on? And welcome back to another meta guide. So today we have the Great League Remix. So the Great League Remix as well as the Open Ultra League are gonna begin tomorrow. And yes, this is an interesting one. They banned the top 20 most used Pokemon from the previous season from Aces and above. And it is in the Open Great League, right? Or the Great League, but the Great League version of it, I guess. But the Pokemon that are going to be banned will be Alolan Sandslash, Wigglytuff, Dugong, Lickitung, Feraligatr, Lantern, Azumarill, Skarmory, Vigoroth, Medicham, which is very interesting, Altaria, Wishcash, Bastiodon, Cresselia, Galarian Stunfisk, another interesting one, Talonflame, Trevenant, Charjabug, Skeledirge, and Annihilate. So a lot of Pokemon you would expect except the two I mentioned, Medicham and Galarian Stunfisk. I didn't really realize those were used too often, and another thing to note is Gligar is not on this list, which is very, very surprising, right? But with that being said, those are the top 20 Pokemon that are going to be banned. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive right into the video. So for the S rank, Carbink has always been good for Great League Remix ever since it was released. Just absolutely does so well. Gonna do well here. I mean, it really depends. Like, Carbink is a Pokemon kind of like Bastiodon, where it prefers having really good alignment. Now, I feel like Carbink is a little bit more flexible than Bastiodon, right? For example, Carbink has play against the fighters because of Moonblast, whereas Bastiodon has no play against fighters. But yeah, I mean, just a good Pokemon. Just keep it away from the Mud Boys. Even Gligar, it technically has play against because it does live a dig, but it's also doing neutral damage with the rock attacks, right? So yeah, it does have a lot of good play, but some Pokemon like Empoleon, for example, that you need to keep it away from. And then we have Registeel. Registeel is actually not on this list, which I guess it's not too surprising. I mean, Registeel is a really strong Pokemon, but it's not like you see it all the time, right? I don't see it too often, I'm going to be completely honest with you. But it is a really good one, and it's going to be really good in the Great League Remix. Quagsire, Wishcash is bad. It was also nerfed, but they ignore the nerfs and buffs this season anyway because they're taken from last season, right? So Wishcash is bad. Quagsire is definitely going to dominate as the Mud Boy, in my opinion. And it's just going to happen. I love the moveset Aqua Tail, Stone Edge. Mud Bomb, obviously also an option if you want to hit like Registeel or Steelix. I mean, you can still use the Aqua Tail. But yeah, great Pokemon. The Shadow version, if you have it, I think is probably better. I just love the damage on it. And then we have Gligar or Shadow Gligar. Again, I mentioned it was not banned, which was surprising to me, but it's not. So it's definitely going to be on the team. Mantine. Well, I will tell you, I don't know how common Mantine was last season, but I've been seeing so many this season in the Open Great League. Maybe next season for Great League Remix, Mantine will be banned. Who knows? But definitely going to dominate for sure. Steelix is good, even with the Breaking Swipe nerf. You just run Psychic Fang's Crunch, which is the most common moveset, I would say. And then Empoleon with the Steel Wing, obviously a very powerful pick. Then we have Poliwrath as a great counter user, no doubt about it. Definitely going to see a lot of Poliwrath. Also interesting that that's not on the ban list as well, but Annihilate is. But yeah, I mean, Poliwrath definitely going to dominate as the best counter user in this meta, no doubt about it. Especially since you got the Vigoroth and the Annihilate that are banned. Poliwrath is definitely gonna dominate. Moving on to the A rank, we do have Guzzlord. Guzzlord, obviously a Dragon Dark type, but really, really powerful stuff. Love Guzzlord, love using it. It doesn't want to see Carbink though, I'll tell you that much. Registeel, okay, another Reggie, but Reggie. Oh, did I say Registeel? Registeel's higher up, but Regirock. Another Reggie, going to be really, really strong. It gets to the moves really fast. I mean, the Stone Edge comes out fast. And then it also has Focus Blast. Just such a strong pick. Aurorus, yet another one. Another Ice type. Could be pretty good. We'll see. I mean, Gligar's probably going to be really common. The Weather Balls come out fast. Meteor Beam is a powerful move. Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz ultra, ultra thick. And, I mean, just such a strong Pokemon. Umbreon of the skies, right? Really, really fantastic pick. Just keep it away from that Carbink, or keep it away from fairy types in general. Swampert, another Mud Boy. I think Quagsire or Shadow Quagsire is probably going to see more play than Swampert. But hey, you know what? Swampert is not bad as well. The Hydro Cannons hit hard and they come out really fast. We'll see. And then we have Goodra. Goodra is a new addition. Well, not really a new addition. It got Thunder Punch. So that's a new move for it. But obviously Goodra was here last season. And then we have Alola Ninetales. You could go Charm or Powder Snow, probably leaning towards the Charm variant of it. Yeah, I mean, Charm is going to be really good. What does it have to watch out for? Obviously, the Carbink, it does fine against Steelix because you double resist the Dragon Tails, and then Charm is just adding up, and then it doesn't want to see Registeel, right? And then moving on to the B rank, we do have Walrein. So Walrein is interesting. I don't know how much we'll see of this one. I think if we're seeing an Ice type, you'll probably see the Aurorus with the Powder Snow Weather Ball over the Walrein. I mean, ever since they nerfed Icicle Spear, it was such a good move, but then they nerfed it. Greedent is a great save swap. Absolutely love Greedent. Yeah, really great pick. In general, I've used Greedent quite a bit, especially I use it more so in the Ultra League, but really good one. Pelipper, I don't feel like Pelipper, it's the same typing as Mantine. I don't feel like it's as common and as good as Mantine, right? Because it's really flimsy, really frail, cannot take a hit, but it's still a good Pokemon, and obviously it hits hard. So especially with the Hurricane, it has a great bait move and Weather Ball. Pidgeot, I love the Brave Bird and Dip from the lead, so if you want to lead Pidgeot, I think that's a great strategy. Abomasnow. Abomasnow, another Ice type. We might see this. We'll probably honestly see Abomasnow over the Walrein, to be honest. And then we have Golbat. Golbat, another flying type. Golbat has been good in previous Great League Remix metas, and I think it will be good in this one. Clodsire. I see this in the Open Great League. Maybe not too much, but yeah, I mean, Clodsire, not a bad Pokemon. I mean, the bulk really coming in clutch. I love the Earthquake attack with Stone Edge. I think that's really strong. I'm just going to do really well, I think, in this meta. And then we have Dragonair or Shadow Dragonair, yet another dragon, if you want to go with Dragonair. Moving on to the other options, we do have Gallade. Gallade did receive Psycho Cut. Was it last season? I think it was. It gets to Leaf Blade in close combat so fast. Toxapex, super bulky. It can take hits for days. Machamp, we're not going to see Machamp over Poliwrath, I don't think. Maybe in some sort of double fighting strategy team, but Poliwrath definitely going to dominate. Greninja, another one. Greninja is a good Pokemon. I mean, Water Shuriken and Night Slash, Hydro Cannon, it doesn't get to the moves fast, but it is really frail. That's the issue that I've always had with Greninja ever since it got the Community Day move. It's not a bad Pokemon, it's just it really cannot take hits at all. But it's still not bad. I mean, I know some people really love Greninja. And then we have Hakamo-o as another Dragon type. We have Jellicent. Maybe we'll see some Jellicent action. Scrafty as another counter user. It's just, it is weak to counter, so it's going to not be doing well against Poliwrath. Although it does have that Thunder Punch option to hit Poliwrath for super effective damage. And then Defense Deoxys. And then we have Obstagoon. Some more counter users. Obstagoon is double weak to counter. And then we have Celio, Superior, and Octobax as another Dragon type. So let's go ahead and move on to the solid team options. First team is going to be Empoleon Double Dragon. I thought, hey, why not? I mean, Double Dragon could see a lot of play. Obviously, the Dragon types do not want to see Fairies. For example, they don't want to see Carbink, Alola Ninetales, but Empoleon does, right? Empoleon does great against those Fairy types. So, yeah, really powerful team. I think the team might struggle maybe a little bit to Registeel. I mean, you do have the Brick Break on the Hakamo-o, and then the Dragon Breath damage adding up even though it's resisted. But the good thing about the Dragons is if they go for Zap Cannon, it is resisted. So they probably want to go for Focus Blast. And then Empoleon, obviously the Steel Wing is resisted by Registeel, so that would be a little bit difficult. But I think Empoleon Double Dragon does have some play. Next up we have Carbink with Gligar and Poliwrath, and you can go with the Shadow variants if you choose to. I think Gligar is probably going to be a relatively safe switch. Maybe. I mean, because even against matchups, it doesn't want to see. For example, Quagsire, it doesn't want to take the Aqua Tails, but you can still take one. You can still do neutral damage. So it's not like it's not good, but it's not like it's playable. It's playable against Mantine. It doesn't want to see the Ice types. That's the big issue. And then we have another team. We have Golbat in the lead with Clodsire and Mandibuzz. So ABA Flying, this team is going to struggle to Carbink, so something to keep in mind. Clodsire definitely does well against Carbink, but if Carbink's in the lead, gonna be tough. But if you don't see Carbink in the lead, I think that could be pretty good. It's also ABA Poison as well, although with the Clodsire, you don't really use it for the poison damage because you're not really going Sludge Bomb, right? So you're more so going Earthquake Stone Edge, which is the moveset I like. But yeah, just keep in mind, Carbink is definitely going to be an issue if you happen to see it in the lead. And then we have another team, Greedent, with double flyers. So we have Mantine and Mana Buzz, and I would go with Trailblaze on this green. This way you could hit the Cubbing for super effective damage. Obviously the backline does not want to see Cubbing, but if you safe switch into Mantine, if you're running, you could run Ice Beam or Water Pulse, but if you're running Water Pulse, you're going to have play against that Mantine, even though it's still not going to be a good matchup. At least you're doing super effective damage, and of course green is going to do pretty well. Okay, and then moving on, we do have another team, Pidgeot, Double Water, Quagsire or Shadow Quagsire, and Empoleon. So I think Quagsire is a pretty good safe swap. Doesn't want to see grass, but there's really not a whole lot of what grass types. I mean, you might see Superior. Abomasnow is technically a grass type. Not technically, I mean it is a grass type. But Pidgeot does well against grass. So does Empoleon because of the Steel Wing. Well, because you're taking neutral damage for the most part. And then the last team is going to be Alolan Ninetales with Gligar and Poliwrath. So the backline doing pretty well against the Cubbing. Trying to focus on Cubbing for the most part. Ninetales hates Cubbing with a passion, but if you see it in the lead, you safe swap into the Gligar. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, this is going to be the Great League Remix. Let me know if you're playing this meta or the Open Ultra League, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.